Alright, we're going to show you how to punch in a couple of baited beaver sets. So we're here sitting on the house on January 8th, and I got a hole dug right there. I got another hole dug right there. This ice is so thin, that's where I fall through. Just at the base of the house. You can tell this isn't the actual house. The big one's over there. We're in a great big old pond here. You can I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's open water right there. And this ice is thin on this little house, this secondary house. So I won't be able to hit that big house for a few months yet. It's 0 degrees today and it's January 8th. It's a pretty warm winter. But you can tell in here, this whole house covered in snow. And you look down in a little bit, that's all melted and wet. So that tells me there's heat coming out of this house. So what I do, I'll get you put on my head mount here and I'll show you what I do. It's not rocket science by any means, but it took me a little while to figure it out when I first started trapping. So I figured if there's anybody starting out needs a little help on how to set big ponds like this under the ice. So what I got here is I got a fresh piece of popple that I just cut. So then here I got my 330. So I'll get these springs set. So yeah, I do have setters. I'm just stubborn. I can do it just as quick, if not quicker, without them. Using a 330 Belle Isle, made in Canada. Best trap on the market. Alright, so you can see what I've done here. I bent my triggers up at a 45, about a third of the way up the trigger. So what's going to happen when I set this, that's going to leave the whole bottom half of the trap opened up. I got snow on my trigger here. Let's see how this is going to go. Alright, so yeah, so you can see the bottom half of the trap is open. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a bunch of these little popple sticks and slide them in between the jaws here. So then that's the way my trap's going to sit under the ice. So here, I'll get that done, and then I'll show you what she looks like. So the way you want to do this is you want it to be sticking out just a hair. So it doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be precise. Just enough that you can get them in between the triggers, or in between the jaws, sorry. Now I've done this with bigger sticks. I've done it with smaller sticks. It all seems to work. It just helps if you put it right in front of them so they can see it. And where I busted those holes out, I was here back before there was snow, and I caught a few big beavers out of here already. Over there in the bank, I broke a hole in the dam and got them with footholds. But we got some smart beavers in here, and they started catching on to what I was doing. So I left them for a little bit. I may come back again, set some more dam breaks, but I dropped the water in here almost, oh geez, almost a foot, if not more. Might even be closer to 2 feet. And I don't want to do that. I'd hate to do that to drain too much water out of them and then they end up freezing to death or something. Okay, so now we got our pieces cut. When you're working with a 330 or any body gripper, never put your thumbs in when you're setting it. It's a good way to get your hand caught if it ever did go off on you. Alright, I always leave my triggers on, or sorry, my safeties on. So these are going to have to take a little bit of, well, just give me a second here actually. I'll set it on the first trigger so she's a little more sensitive. Give me a little more room. There we go. There. So when you go to put this under the water, you take your safeties off. Them springs are going to act as a way to keep them in there. So that's just going to float under the ice. The beaver's going to come try to get them sticks. It's going to hit that trigger. Now there's a million different ways to do a baited set. This is just one of many. This is just my way of doing it. I think it's a little quicker. So one more thing I'm going to do, just to make it a little more enticing to them, is I'm going to shave some of this bark off, just to make it a little more bright, easier for them to see. So it doesn't have to be too overly intricate. I keep looking ashore because I had a group of people walk past me there a while ago. From what I've been told from the landowners, they're antis. They don't like people trapping, even though they don't own the property. My buddy does. But antis don't seem to care about whose property is what. Run into them on the trail and they weren't long realizing what I was here for. They shot me a dirty look and off they went. Oh well, I give them a big smile and big wave. I think that pisses them off more than anything. Anyway, alright, back to the task at hand here. Alright, so one last thing you're going to do for your trap. When you go to, if you're trapping before the big freeze, I always run, about 4 or 5 feet of wire to stake off on, just in case I get a bad catch or whatever, and then it doesn't allow the beaver to break the cable and take my trap. This is pretty strong wire. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wire it off to my other spring now, the other end, just like that. Alright. So now we can get over to the other side of the house without falling through the ice. So that's where I fell through. That's where I was testing it, and that's where I'm putting my trap. I tell you, when I say this ice is rotten, this ice is rotten. I can hear it cracking beneath my feet. I don't like that. It's not the safest deal to be out here, but what the hell else am I going to do? Always take your safeties off when you're about ready to actually leave them safeties on until I'm done messing with the trap. Be a good way to get caught. And now the funny thing about this whole deal is if I've got a smart beaver in here who's seen this kind of trap before, or kind of set before, he might be more apt to slide them sticks out. But I say I've never had it happen yet, but anything's possible. Alright, so now I got my trap. Safety's off. Their run, you can kind of see it. Their run's going this way and it branches out. But this is right where the door of their house is. Okay, so I'm going to do something a little different here. Just going to try squeeze these up a little, pinch them, see if I can't get that trigger. Yeah, see, that's just going to make them slip. That's alright. Alright, I'm going to slide these down a bit. These sticks are a little too small there. Now another way I do this is I get a big stick that I got to cut and chisel and mess around with to get to stay into the trap. But like I said, that takes forever. So now set these back in. Fresh chewings for the beavers. Set your springs up. So now what you want to do now is take your safeties. Use your safeties to your advantage. Slide them down. Kind of pinch them logs in there so they can't float up and float away on you. This will just make life a little easier for you. Oh, the antis must be calling the wardens on me or something. I haven't seen them in a while. There. So now, them springs are still going to be able to fire, but they're holding them sticks down, so they won't float away on us. Alright, so yeah, like I said, I'm right in their run. I'm putting this trap right in front of their face. They won't be able to miss it. And this water, it was deep at one time. When I say deep, we're talking, this was like 6-7 feet deep there back a few weeks ago. So now you can see your trap down there in the ice, so I'm just gonna take up the slack on this. And usually what I do with this is I'll try to get another stick to, I say, you spend a lot of money for your traps. The last thing you want to do is lose the damn things. So now I'm gonna wire this off like that and set that down. And I'm gonna throw a bunch of snow on it. She's gonna get cold tonight, but minus 13. So we'll add some snow into her. There, like I say, that beaver, with that trap wrapped around his head, he won't be able to break that stick. And if for some reason he does, he's got stick number 2 on him. So there, you can hear that ice cracking, I tell you. See the water bouncing? So that's a baited set.